And it's important that you don't allow people to just dictate what you need to do. You have to discover for yourself what works for you. And that one way of that is to really grounding yourself with the reason, the why of your singlehood. And with that, you won't end up getting offended every time it those kind of conversations are brought up, because it's just gonna bother you. It's a waste of time. So better ask yourself, am I really happy? Because if you're not, then I would encourage you to dig deep on the reasons why, so you can already move on and enjoy your single season.
Hey everybody, I'm Doms,
And I am Nicole,
and this is Empowered Women Podcast.
your source of therapeutic words.
Hi everyone, welcome again to Empowered Woman.
Yes, and today we are going to have another very special episode. This is somewhat related to our previous episode about heartbreak, but this time it's going to be about singlehood. So, to those who are single out there, this is for you.
Yeah, as you can recall last time from our last episode, we said that we were going to talk about singlehood, or is there such a word as singlehood?
No, I think
Singleness, single season, whatever the term is, but we said that we are gonna talk about this waiting season. Like, what are you gonna do when you are still single, or how are you gonna perceive singlehood? And Nicole is single, so I think that she can best explain or represent single ladies out there. Since I am in a relationship, maybe I can also contribute what I've learned before I had a relationship and now that I'm in a relationship. So, yeah, that works. So, yeah.
Yes, and also the way our conversation will go today is based on the questions that my friend Joyce Saison, hi there, that sent to us. So she sent us like a couple of questions, and it's pretty interesting. And I feel like I can also relate to her questions. So yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, but thank you, Joy. And actually, before we start, we just want to say thank you to Sir Nate. Thank you for giving us these neat microphones. Thank you so much. It makes the podcast makes the flow of the podcast very easy. It's easy to use, and it's really cute. And it's very unique. It has that. Is it Jimmy Neutron vibe?
Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah. So thank you again, Sir Nate, for these microphones.
Yay, thank you so much. So for those who want to sponsor our podcast, please DM us at email us or message us on Facebook. We will be very
We would love to receive gifts from
yes. All right, so let's get started. All right, so for the first question, what can you say to all singles out there, especially those in their mid to late 20s, who are constantly dealing with marriage pressures from family, elders, and or peers? So, yeah, I think I'll just be the first one to answer. Okay. So, personally, I just thought about this answer. Yeah, to ask you a question. So, let me just ask you a question like, are you happy with your singlehood or your singleness? Are you happy with where you are at right now? Because I feel like if you are then happy, then there's really no reason or need for you to explain yourself to these people. And at the same time, I believe that if you're someone that, or if you these people actually are or really loves you, really understands you, and understand where you're coming from, then most likely they will end up supporting you and just respecting your decision. And there's really no need for you to explain to them. So that's somewhat my stand. How about you at the Domes?
Yeah, and it's not only just for the single people out there who get pressured by these. You have a boyfriend already, and stuff like that. But even for us, people who are in a relationship, we also get pressured. Like, when are you gonna get married? Or like, even if it's just a joke, when people say that, pakasal na yan, and mga ganun. Parang, for me, it irks me a little bit because we have our own timeline and we've already talked about that. And I mean, some of us may not even be ready for marriage. So like telling us to do this and do that kind of irks a little bit, unless it's meant to like if it's a serious conversation, like, so what are your plans, if it's meant to really. But if it's just, just for fun, you say, hey, pasal na yan, or like something that's meant to just pressure you or something like that, I kind of don't appreciate that. But but not to the point din talaga na I would react violently when I hear that. What I do is just ignore them. I mean, it's just normal, It's the
Yeah.
culture of the Filipino. When you are in a reunion, your tita will say, "Oh, kailan ka magpapakasal?" Or yung,
Yeah. Aside sa, parang tumaba ka. Oh, good.
yeah. Sometimes some people say it just meant for it's meant to be funny, but sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's annoying, But you just have to understand that sometimes people can be really insensitive on that part because maybe they're raised differently. So that's it, and you just have to, if you don't, if you are annoyed by that or feel pressured by those comments, you just have to ignore and let them realize, or let them understand your silence. Like, let them, oh, did I say something wrong? Why does she seem like silent, or like, is she offended? And then they will, realize, oh, maybe I was so insensitive for telling that. So like, yeah, one of the powerful things in responding to someone is just being silent.
Yeah. Silence is the best response when you don't know what to say. Or if people is not yet ready for the answer, then just keep silent. Yep.
Yeah.
And also just want to add to the reason why I asked you the question if you are happy with your singlehood. It's because if you are happy, then your peace will not be shaken at all. So, and you can just easily shrug it off if you are grounded with the reasons why you are single. And I think that's very important because there are a lot of things on social media and even people around you that could dictate that, hey, this is the perfect time to, date people. But there's nothing wrong with dating people, but it still depends on how you are going to spend your singlehood. And it's important that you don't allow people to just dictate what you need to do. You have to discover for yourself what works for you, and that one way of that is to really grounding yourself with the reason, the why of your singlehood. And with that, you won't end up getting offended every time those kind of conversations are brought up, because it's just gonna bother you. It's a waste of time. So better ask yourself, am I really happy? Because if you're not, then I would encourage you to dig deep on the reasons why, so you can already move on and enjoy your single season. Yeah. Okay, so second question. Do you think being single translates to being selfish about your freedom or being selfish about your personal space? So, I think I disagree with this idea that it's selfish. Because, on the other hand, I could say that it is, or our privilege and choice. Kasi, if you're single, of course, you're gonna have all the freedom of your time, of your energy. You can own yourself, di ba? You can own your own space. You don't really have to consider another person every time you make decisions. So I believe it is a privilege, and it's not something that should be yung parang ipagkait sa atin. Kasi I see it as a certain season lang naman sa life. And it's gonna pass, and it will serve its purpose depending on how you make the most out of it.
Yeah, and being single is not selfish because by default we are all single.
Yeah.
We were never married when we got birth. I mean, when we were born. We were never married. So like, we are single by default, and there are reasons why people can be single, not just because they're selfish. They're single, probably wala pang naniligaw sa nila, kaya they're single.
Yeah.
And they're just yeah, and they're just waiting. But it's not like they're not really closing their doors. It's just that nobody really knocked the door yet. So that's not being selfish at all. So it depends on the reason why you are single. So if you are single because you don't want to let people in, I'm it kind of it kind of is a bit selfish because it really you blocked other people. Um, you block other people, so that's like I don't know, for some reason there could be a lot of people why people block other people. For example, they don't want to get hurt
Yeah.
because if you let people in, there's this tendency that you will experience hurt, you will be rejected. So other people don't like that, and that's the reason why. So, but really, they need that love. They need to have a relationship because we are all relational beings. Actually, when you say na single ka, and then kumbaga, when we equate singleness as selfishness, parang hindi. Mas selfish ka pa nga kung gusto mo na parang you're in a relationship because you want people to love you eh.
Yeah, you can get something from that.
Yeah, you can get someone. Pero pag ikaw lang isa, parang no. It's ano ba? Wala lang. yun lang talaga siya by default. So there are reasons talaga. So it's that question is really hard to answer kasi it's very subjective to people. Yeah.
And I would just like to also point out the part when you mentioned that maybe you were closing your doors from people or men or ladies if you're a guy. Oh, no, not really. Kasi hindi naman. It's not, it does not always work like that with guys. But mostly with ladies, the reason why probably they close their doors, it's because maybe they understand, they are aware that there are still a lot of things that they need to work on their own lives, especially if you have the fear of being brokenhearted. Probably there is something, it would root down to what happened in your past, and it's okay. Don't feel pressured to open up yourself just because of this idea na you're being selfish because you don't want to entertain someone. Like that's just a foolish perspective. So just take the time, don't feel pressured, and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, and actually I agree with what you said na it's your right to really be single first and work on yourself. So yeah, that's really true. And that's everybody should have that right, and everybody has that right. Now, before they enter into a relationship, they must first work on themselves. Because if not, if you have a relationship already, it will be a chaos. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for your partner as well.
Yeah. Though there are also some gray areas to that, because I also heard this perspective from a Christian couple that they were sharing something about dating, and they also see dating as one way of exploring yourself, in a way that you will know how to relate to people, you will know how to communicate, you will get to know other people. Like being single does not mean that you're gonna completely close your door. It's like, just take time to know other people, build friendship, relationship, but also set boundaries for yourself. So, hindi naman sa porke single ka is wala na talaga, as in, ako na talaga, wala nang ibang pwedeng makapasok. No, it's not like that. It does not work like that because no one is an island. So, you always need someone or another person to help you out in this life because we are not alone in this journey. So, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and there are people who say now, "Oh, I want to be single first because I want to grow." Actually, you will grow a lot when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's not a reason that you just want to grow, so you want to be single because you want to grow first. You can grow with your partner. You can grow together. It's just there are things that you should, for example, there are things na mag-grow ka lang dyan pag single ka, and there are things na mag-grow ka lang
True.
dyan when you're in a relationship.
True.
So like things na patience, talagang mag-grow ka niyan when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, pero in a different level, but there are also things na you can grow na single ka, like yung paglalove mo sa self mo, yung pag-prioritize mo sa self mo. So, yeah, it's talagang you can grow sa both season ng life mo.
True. So the point is try to live in the present, make the most out of it so that when it's time for you to move on to another phase in your life, then you don't have anything to regret because sana ginawa ko to nung single pa ako. Yung walang ganung mga linyahan. But you will say to yourself, I'm thankful that I was able to do this when I was still single. So by the next time that I'm gonna be dating someone, be in a relationship with someone, then that's another set of kumbaga lessons or set of things that you're gonna discover and experience, diba?
Don't forget to get your daily dose of therapeutic quotes at Empowered Women's Facebook and Instagram account.